Nebraska, Oklahoma, 1971. Called many things, but most often, game of the century. And as you see it again, I think you'll agree. They were numbers 1 and 2 in the nation. 6 weeks leading into the game, very little to choose. Oklahoma's number 1 offense had a very good defense that sometimes got overlooked. And likewise, Nebraska, the number 1 defensive team, but very proud of their I-back offense. Huskers undefeated and had another almost unheard of statistic. They had never even trailed an opponent in 9 games coming into the ball game. Likewise, the Sooners, an offensive dynamo, averaging 45 points per game. The central figures are with us for this replay. Rival quarterbacks Jack Mildren of Oklahoma, Jerry Tagge of Nebraska. Here now, they recall their feelings as game time came close.
Well, the thing that I remember, or some of the things that I remember, one, we were at home, and I felt like that was a great advantage, not having to travel to a hostile place. And I remember the newspaper reporters coming in on a Tuesday, which generally they came in on a Thursday. Dan Jenkins drinking a Coke or whatever he was drinking in the student lounge. All of the sidelights that make going to a major university like Oklahoma a great place to go to be a student and play football. In one of my classes, for example, one of the test questions was pick the score. I didn't pick it 35-31, and I didn't pick Nebraska winning. But all of the little things that add up to the color and the fun, and the older I get, the more I look back on 15 years ago and think about the people, and there was no doubt in Oklahoma's offensive mind that we could move the football. We didn't know how much, but we felt like what we were doing was correct, and that we would score a lot of points.
I remember how very scared I was and how confident I was at the same time. Looking back in preparation with Coach Osborne, who was our offensive coordinator, we were very well prepared. We were determined. We knew we were good. We were very good. Probably better than we actually were. But we couldn't wait for the game to start. We were actually standing there. I remember it was cold, and I couldn't wait for the flip of the coin. And I wanted to get this. I wanted to get that first series out of the way. And playing in Oklahoma, I didn't think that was going to make any difference as to the outcome. I just couldn't. I remember just couldn't wait to hit somebody and get the nerves unrattled and try to get our offense moving. They had a much better defense than anybody ever gave them credit for. They knew they were a good defense, and we knew they were a good defense. But we also figured nobody could stop us, and we were totally prepared. It just seemed like the last 5 minutes before kickoff seemed like hours, and once the ball was kicked, I settled down.
The co-captains Jerry Tagge and Jim Anderson, both of Green Bay, Wisconsin, and the flip of the coin.
Okay, we'll allow Nebraska, the visiting captain, to call the toss in the air. Want it understood that should I drop it, I'll throw it up again. Okay, here we go. You're calling it? All right, heads. All right, Oklahoma, you understand he called heads, is that right? And it's tails. You may have this the momentum of the game. You may kick or receive or defend either goal. You will defend this goal, all right? You may kick or receive. All right. Oklahoma wins the toss, chose it to defend, and will kick. And we'll start the game in 1 minute and keep rolling.
So the University of Nebraska Cornhuskers, as Jerry Tagge had hoped, ball game would be underway and they would have their hands on the football first. A look at the lineups as both teams come off the field. All the starters for Nebraska's offense go back. That's Jeff Kinney and Johnny Rogers standing deep. Rogers is the nation's leader in kickoff returns, averaging 30 yards per return. John Carroll will kick off for Oklahoma. The game of the century. A full house, a chilly day at Norman, Oklahoma. And Carroll puts foot to football. Back to receive it, Johnny Rogers. He's back to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25-yard line and stacked up. Rogers, a 25-yard return, about 5 in his average. The Nebraska lineup now. Cox, White, Rupert, Dumler, Wertman, Johnson, and List across the line for the Cornhuskers. Jerry Tagge at quarterback. Jeff Kinney at the I-back spot. At fullback is Bill Olds. Wingback is Johnny Rogers. 1st and 10 at the 25 of Nebraska. Oklahoma in a 6-man front. Taggy with a long count. He's going to throw in first down, and he's got Rogers complete. 6-yard gain up to the 31 of Oklahoma as Taggy comes out throwing. It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Cornhuskers. There's an indication of the wind blowing from right to left, gusting to 25. 2nd and 4 at the 31 of Nebraska. The pitch to Kinney, his first carry about a yard. Jeff Kinney hits into the right side, and it'll make it 3rd and 3. The Nebraska 32. Taggy again, I formation. Opposite side, the pitch goes back. Kinney for a couple of yards, but a little bit short of the first down. Going to be an official measurement. They may have it. Kinney for a couple of yards got over the 35-yard line, but they waved the chain gang in. Jeff Hughes is loosening up for the Huskers, may be called into kick, and he will have to kick into the wind if indeed the measurement is short by just about the length of the football. Taggy indicating to Coach Bob Devaney the margin that they are short. And Jeff Hughes comes into the ball game. The Huskers will boot.
We were off to an uncharacteristic start in the fact that we got 8 yards on first down on a quick pass, and 2 running plays we didn't make the first down. So next thing I knew, we were standing on the sidelines, and I was wondering what happened. And they had the ball.
Look at the Oklahoma lineup. Chandler, Unruh, Emmert, Braheny, their All-American center, along with Jones from Omaha, Jack Mildren, Roy Bell, Greg Pruitt, Leon Crosswhite, who have made the Oklahoma wishbone go so well all season long.
My major thought the first series was to find out where the defensive tackles were going to play and make sure that I didn't make a serious mistake, either keeping the ball incorrectly or handing it off incorrectly.
2nd and 7 for the Sooners.
One of the key things that Nebraska did on defense that made it difficult for us to move the football was Rich Glover playing at nose guard and his success against Tom Braheny. Tom was an All-American eventually for 2 years. This was his junior year. Was a great player, had a great career, and yet in this game, on a one-on-one basis, Glover made a number of outstanding plays.
Terrio, number 45. I can leave him a couple of yards on the play. 3rd and 4. Mildren to the opposite way, but is stopped short of the first down. So Oklahoma's going to have to punt it right back. The 39-yard line. Johnny Rogers is back deep for the Huskers. Here's John Carroll's kick. Gets a rush. High hanging kick, and Rogers waits for it at the Nebraska 29. Comes out of a pile of players, comes forward, finds daylight for a moment, swings to the outside. Rogers is on the 40-yard line. Rogers to the 30, a good block, and he's going to go all the way. Johnny Rogers, the first time he touches the ball, brings it all the way back, and the Huskers go out in front 6-0.
When they punted the ball to Johnny, I thought they trapped him, and using his athletic ability, which he did all year long, and which is why I think he's the greatest athlete I've ever seen or ever played with.
I'm like Jerry. I thought the guy was trapped, and the next thing we know, he jumps out and runs for a score. And this play right here is probably the most discussed play in the 15 years that I've been gone from the school.
And coming across, Bob Terrio, supplying the last block that Rogers needed. And John is home. Rich Sanger will try the extra point. Oklahoma with a man coming on the field. The point is up, and good officials waving their arms. Hold on. It was through, and it's 7-0 Nebraska. The indication of the penalty, it is going to be offside Oklahoma. It'll stand. Nebraska leads at 7-0. Sanger's kick, bouncing back inside the 10. It's Greg Pruitt back to the 5, to the 10-yard line, out to the 15, and smack down. Pruitt, another fine kickoff returner, brings it back to the 15. Oklahoma trailing now, 7-0. Puts the ball in play. Mildren with a handoff or keeps the ball and goes 3 yards, and it's out to the 18-yard line. Husker strategy is to key on Pruitt, their All-America candidate at the running back spot. Mildren with 3 yards. Pruitt is averaging 9.5 yards per carry going into the ball game. 2nd and 7 as the Sooners come out the 18-yard line. Mildren calls the signals. A handoff to Pruitt through the middle, breaks for a moment. He's out to the 30 to the 35-yard line. Greg Pruitt, a 17-yard carry. And a 1st and 10 Oklahoma. Here it is again. The wishbone, the fake one way, and Pruitt, not needing much daylight, comes out and is finally caught from behind, but not until he's got the first down. Mildren to Crosswhite for a couple of yards. Rich Glover at the bottom of the pile. Let's take another look at that battle in the middle. Glover is actually a smallish middle guard by comparison. Great upper body strength, and he fights off Braheny, an All-American as a junior with some help from Terrio. And they hold Crosswhite to a rather short gain, a couple of yards, bring up 2nd and 8. Mildren again to Crosswhite up the middle over the 40 to around the 41, a gain of about 4, but still about 4 yards short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 4 for the Oklahoma Sooners, trying to drive out of their own territory before a capacity crowd on a dark, blustery day. Oklahoma leading the nation in points scored per game. Mildren at quarter. Fakes a handoff, rolls outside, goes up to around the 45-yard line. Mildren a 5-yard gain. Second down and 5 for the Oklahoma Sooners. Handoff and right in his tracks. Pruitt is contained by the center of the Nebraska line. Rich Glover, All-American tackle Larry Jacobson. There's a look at the Oklahoma runners. You can see why they have the offense that they have. Pruitt, Mildren, White, Bell, and Wiley, everybody averaging better than 5 yards per carry. Short of midfield around the 46-yard line. Mildren on a keeper play is wrestled down by Jacobson. Nebraska leading the nation, allowing just over 171 yards per game. Out come the Sooners. Mildren fakes, gonna throw. First pass of the ball game, and it is caught down to the 20-yard line. Mildren to John Harrison for 30 yards and a first down. 2nd and 9 as Mildren lets one go. Mildren and Harrison have played football together since the 4th grade. Oklahoma uses the pass sparingly, that time effectively to the 21 of Nebraska. Crosswhite into the middle. A couple of yards before Rich Glover knocks him down. Down to the 19 of Nebraska. Mildren up off the stack at 2nd down and 8. Oklahoma with a football and Nebraska with a lead 7-0. In the first quarter, the second Oklahoma possession. Sooners out of the huddle in that wishbone formation. Mildren on a keeper comes to the outside and gets racked up by Jensen. Huskers right tackle is Chuck Fairbanks, the Oklahoma coach. 38-12 during his tenure at Norman. 3rd down and 4. The Sooners and Crosswhite into the center. Picks up a couple of yards and is going to be at least 2 yards short of the first down. The Nebraska 13-yard line is where the ball is spotted. John Carroll is in. He is at an angle from the right. Wind at his back. The kick is up. It is good. So on their second possession, the Sooners get points on the board. The Huskers lead it 7-3. Kinney and Rogers are deep. Carroll puts foot into the football. Back to the 5-yard line. Kinney brings it back to the 20 and out to the 24. Jeff Kinney straight ahead, carrying people with him. Huskers 1st and 10 And now with a 4-point lead at the Nebraska 24-yard line. Capacity crowd, nationwide television audience looking on as the Huskers break their huddle. Taggy looking both ways, looks at a 5-man front. Man in motion from the I-back spot is Kinney. He's going to throw, and Taggy is caught behind the line. They're going to wrestle him down around the 18. Jerry Taggy not able to find an open receiver. And a 6-yard loss. It'll bring 2nd and 16. The underrated Sooner defensive unit. Their offense is almost overshadowed it most of the year. Good look at Taggy. Calls his signals 2nd and long. Inside handoff to Johnny Rogers. Gives some ground in his spill. Rogers trying to get to the sidelines. Great defensive play. Knocked down for a yard loss. It'll be 3rd and 17. Huskers 3rd and long and into the wind. Need a big play here. Taggy back to throw. Draw play. Bill Olds over the 20. He's to the 25. Hit at the 26. Spun back. And it is going to be short of the first down. Olds with a good effort but not able to pick up the first down. A gain of 7. It'll be 4th and 10. So for the second time in the ball game, the Huskers are going to have to punt. 3:56 to go in the opening quarter. From the Nebraska 24, Hughes with a good boot into the wind. Rides high and no chance for a run back, but a reverse bounce for the second time. The wind catches a football. A reverse bounce, and Nebraska downs it at their own 45-yard line. Good field position for the Oklahoma Sooners. Mildren brings them out. 1st and 10. Mildren with a fake, wants to throw. He's got Chandler deep, and he can't quite get there. Al Chandler, who has caught 4 touchdown passes in the last 4 Sooner games, just over his fingertips at 2nd and 10. Again, the Sooners come out, this time in the half bone. Flanker to the right side. Handoff in the middle is Joe Wiley. And Rich Glover comes through to spill him down for no gain.
I know the game plan was to keep the ball away from Pruitt and keep the ball in Jack's hand, because basically Jack's the one who's going to make all the decisions. And the thinking there is, if there's anybody who's going to make a mistake, it's going to be Jack, because he's got to make all the decisions. And they were very worried about Greg Pruitt's outside speed.
If I were going to play Oklahoma, if I had been on the defensive team playing against us, that's the way I would have played it. I would have made the quarterback carry the ball as many times as necessary, and try to make every hit a good solid hit, and just see if we can wear him down. And I think eventually in this game, I end up handling the ball over 40 times, and Greg ends up carrying the ball 10 times, which is far different. It's a far different ratio than any other game we've played.
1st and 10, Nebraska at their own 18-yard line. Handoff to Kinney, is caught behind the line and struggles for maybe 2 yards, just across the 20. A 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8, the Huskers. Cold day in Norman, Oklahoma. Huskers losing the opening flip going into the wind in this the first quarter. Taggy rolls left, wants to throw, looks, throws to the sideline, and it's to Woody Cox. Was he inbounds? No. Cox got the grab, but the official rules that he had his foot on the out-of-bounds marker. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Nebraska 29 games without a loss. Trying to keep that streak alive and put it to 30 before the afternoon ends. 3rd and 8 for Jerry Taggy at the 21 of Nebraska. Taggy hiding the ball on his hip, is still back to throw now, throws it to the outside, throws a screen pass to Kinney, who goes to the 25-yard line. Good gain, but hold it, there's a penalty. A flag is down on the field. It's going to be holding against the Huskers. It is short of the first down, and the Sooners are going to decline it. 2:17 to go opening quarter. Nebraska for the 3rd time having to boot into the wind. High snap, but Hughes It's a good foot into the football.
This particular game, it was very important to have somebody go down there and make the tackle because they have those great return people. And I think Johnny volunteered to go down there and stick somebody, and he did.
There's the scoring frequency. Nebraska 52 times in 91 possessions. Look at the Sooners. 57 times of 100. When they've had the football, they put it on the scoreboard. "31-yard line of Oklahoma, 1st and 10. Mildren sets him down, gives it off to Wiley, his first carry. He's up for about 5 yards to around the 36-yard line. Joe Wiley, number 22, and it's 2nd and 5. Out come the Sooners. Mildren, this time to Tim Welch. His first carry, he's got a yard. Welch out of Bowie, Texas. Here's Rich Glover again, who's having a fine day against a really tough All-American candidate. He made All-American last year. Brahaney is a good candidate again this year, and Glover pushes him aside and puts the shoulder into Welch. A gain of a yard, and it's 3rd and 4. Again, the handoff to Welch, and this time he's got the first down. Welch down to around the 42 of Oklahoma. Time for maybe a couple of more plays, and this is the opening quarter. Jack Mildren, a workhorse, an excellent ball handler. On the option play, left side, kicks out of one tackle and goes up to around midfield. Number 11, Jack Mildren, with that tearaway jersey. The number 7 scorer in the nation, 82 points coming into the football game. 2nd down and 9 to go. Oklahoma with maybe time for 1 or 2 more plays. Handoff to Pruitt, hit, and the ball in the air and grabbed by Jim Anderson. The whistle is blowing. Anderson breaks away, but the ball apparently touched and Anderson scooped it up. You can't advance it in college football. Anderson, let's look at it again as Pruitt comes in, gets a handoff. There's a hit that rips the football loose. It's rolling free. It does hit the ground. Anderson gets it on a good hop. Breaks for the Sooner goal line as whistles sound all over the place. Huskers have it back at the Nebraska 46. Taggy, the only back behind his holes. He comes to the outside, breaks for about 6 yards as the horn sounds to end the first quarter. Well, the Huskers, going into the win, take a 7-3 lead into the second period.
We never did score first down in the first quarter, but we still had the lead.
Taggy on the option, comes to the outside, is hit and stopped just barely short of the first down. Needed to get just across that yard line.
It's always a psychological advantage to have the wind at your back. Any quarterback will tell you that. Any quarterback that tells you once to throw in the wind is kind of crazy. But yes, and we just felt comfortable. We were an experienced team. We were ready to play. We had a good offense, and we really didn't have a chance, an opportunity to loosen up. We just had not been on the field that long.
The measurement. Huskers had asked for one. They thought maybe that the officials had made a mistake. It's just a couple of inches. You saw the indication of how short it is. It is just short of the 44-yard line of Oklahoma. Early in the second quarter. Huskers lead 7-3. Need inches for a first down. Taggy on the sneak to the right side, and he's got it. Just over the 44. There are the statistics in the first quarter. Huskers did not have the yardage edge, but they lead it in 7-3. And Taggy back to throw. Johnny Rogers is the target downfield. Well covered. Steve O'Shaughnessy, the defensive back for Oklahoma. So Taggy trying to break one to Rogers from the 44-yard line of Oklahoma. A little bit long with the wind at his back, his first throw, and here's 2nd and 10. Taggy fakes a handoff to Rogers, goes outside, pitches to Kinney. He's over the 40 and finally driven out of bounds around the 37-yard line. Kinney picks up the first down for Nebraska. Taggy with a great fake inside to Rogers, held it to the last moment, pitched it out to Kinney, and Jeff turns it to the 37-yard line, a Husker 1st and 10. Open field to the left side. A handoff to Bill Olds, and the big fullback from Kansas City, Kansas, got just short of the yard line, but good enough for the 1st and 10. Olds to the Nebraska 48-yard line. Here again is Aycock on the defensive play. Aycock driven back, and then Olds moves him back a little further. The ball at the 31-yard line of Oklahoma. Taggy under pressure, throws, and Rogers has got the catch. Taggy turned around, saw people coming at him, got rid of the ball in a hurry, and Johnny Rogers, a completion to the 19 of Oklahoma. Here it is again from Taggy's viewpoint. John with a good catch, wrestled down, but the Huskers pick up another 1st and down, 1st and 10, at the 19 of the Sooners. Taggy option to the left side, carries the ball, moves it across the 15 to the 14. Jerry Taggy rolling to his left and knifing in for 7 more. 2nd and 3. Taggy's tearaway jersey showing a lot of shoulder pad. To Kinney, up the middle, a couple of yards. He is a little bit short of the 1st down. Jeff Kinney to the 10-yard line. Make it the 12, and the Huskers need to get to the 11 to pick up the 1st down. Kinney stopped at the 12. It'll be 3rd down and a yard. 2nd quarter, Nebraska in front, 7-3. 3rd down and 3. The fake. Taggy outside. He's got the 1st down, and he's down to the 6. Jerry Taggy, 6'2", 215 pounds. Green Bay, Wisconsin's his home. The town that football helped make famous. 1st and goal, Huskers at the Oklahoma 6. Everybody in the picture defensively for Oklahoma, and Kinney goes to the 1.
Kenny's the man you want carrying a ball down here. He doesn't fumble much. He's big, strong, and if they clog up the middle, then we can come around on a reverse, and so they complement each other well. But you start with Kenny first because he's their big back.
Kinney over the top. He's got it. Touchdown. Jeff Kinney. And the play the Huskers rehearse over and over and over. The up and over play at practice. Kinney's 13th touchdown of the year. Kinney from McCook, the #1 rusher all season for Nebraska. Sanger with a point after touchdown, 14-3. Huskers have moved to an 11-point margin. 54-yard scoring drive in 12 plays. On the tee, and Sanger comes forward. Deep is Greg Pruitt. He's going to go into the end zone with the wind behind him. Sanger got good foot into that one. No run back, and they'll come out to the 20-yard line. Here's a replay. Watch Kinney from the defensive side. Taggy's handoff. Up and over. (14-3) Huskers. 1st and 10 Oklahoma at their own 20-yard line. Mildren fakes, goes outside. There's the pitch to Pruitt, who is stopped for no gain. Mildren with a late pitch to Pruitt, but Jim Anderson up in a hurry, one of the co-captains for the Huskers, holds him to no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Oklahoma, their first time with the football going into the win. There's the yardage up to now, 96-74, favoring the Sooners. Huskers lead it by 11. Second down and 10, and the handoff to Crosswhite to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, and finally run down from behind. Crosswhite all the way out to almost the 45, make it the 44-yard line. Leon Crosswhite on a cross buck that gives the Sooners a lot of breathing room. Here it is once again. Glover with Brohaney. Not able to get rid of him in time, and Crosswhite goes by, goes all the way out, and on the next play, Mildren moving to his left goes for 5 yards out to the 49-yard line. A 2nd and 5 situation for Oklahoma. Mildren, who has been the principal ball carrier thus far in the ball game, just short of midfield. Out they come, open field right side for Oklahoma. Huskers show a 5-man front. The handoff in the middle, no gain. Bob Terrio at the bottom of the stack, the big Californian. Underneath everybody to hold Crosswhite to no gain. It's 3rd and 5 Sooners. There's Terrio.
Terrio was a very tough, smart linebacker. He wasn't that big, but he had a way of hiding behind linemen and jumping into the gap at the right time to make the tackles.
The Oklahoma 49. Mildren fakes, comes to the outside. He's got the first down and a little bit more. Mildren for about 5 yards. Rolls into Nebraska territory a little further. To the Nebraska 45 is where they're going to spot the football. 1st and 10 Oklahoma. Handoff to Crosswhite. First man through. He's down to the 40-yard line. The Husker defense is being put to the test by the #1 offensive football team in college football, Oklahoma, on their own field. Dark, blustery day. 2nd and 5. Huskers out in front 14-3. Oklahoma at the Nebraska 39. Mildren in front of the wishbone. Gives to Pruitt. Very short yardage. A couple of yards maybe. Pruitt is stacked up short of the 35, around the 37. That'll bring up 3rd and 3. Greg Pruitt contained well by the Huskers today, averaging 9.5 going in. He's had 21 yards and 5 carries. Mildren rolls out, gets free, and picks up the first down to the 26-yard line of Nebraska. A 12-yard gain, and Jack Mildren adjusting that tearaway jersey as he comes back. 1st and 10 Oklahoma. A big 3rd down play by the Sooner quarterback. Husker 26, 1st and 10. Mildren with a counter play is back and again got good yardage to the 15-yard line.
We didn't anticipate Jack not making any mistakes. We figured would force him into making a lot more mistakes than he did. And he was definitely the offensive player of the game.
Rich Glover, again, as he has all afternoon on every play, fighting off the block of an All-American, drifting out to the right side. Mildren going by. Glover still battles, gets loose, gets him from behind. It was enough for the first down. Mildren on a 10-yard gain makes it 1st and 10 Oklahoma at the Nebraska 15. 55 yards, 11 rushes for the Oklahoma signal caller. Crosswhite takes the hand off the first man through, picks up about 4. To the 11-yard line of Nebraska. It'll be 2nd and 6 Oklahoma. Bob Terrio out momentarily, we're told. A slight knee sprain, but they say from the sidelines that he should be back in. Terrio having a great day defensively, and they need him. At the Nebraska 11, 2nd and 6. Crosswhite all the way down to the 5-yard line, and I believe he's got the first down. Crosswhite for 6 yards, and yep, 1st and goal. Didn't have to measure it. At the Nebraska 5, Crosswhite averaging better than 5 yards per carry. Mildren sets them down. Huskers stack up a lot of men up front. Mildren slips out of a tackle but can't get away from everybody and is stopped after a gain of 2. 5:21 remaining in this, the first half, and Mildren looks at 2nd and goal from the Husker 3. Jack Mildren fakes, goes left. He's in for the touchdown. Path opened up. A fine block by his fullback cross wide ahead of him. The first Sooner touchdown of the afternoon. And it's 14-9. John Carroll, 42 of 50 for the year in extra points. We'll try it. Mildren will hold. Snapped and down. It is up and it is good. So it gets close once again. The Huskers on top, 14-10. Second quarter. There's a Sooner schooner quickly on and off the field. That 80-yard scoring drive, 13 plays, almost 6 minutes of time. Jack Mildren on the bench, taking a couple of deep breaths. Sooners will kick off. Jeff Kinney and Johnny Rogers are deep. Huskers have seen their lead shrink now to 4 points once again. Comes Carroll. A line drive kick caught by Doug Jamail.
The line drive kickoff. I thought Coach Fairbanks was going to have a heart attack. And he told Carroll, don't do that. John, it was just one of those things where John hit the top of the ball, and as luck would have it, the guy on the other team makes the catch.
Great field position for the Huskers. Taggy goes back to throw, looks downfield. Johnny Rogers is deep, and it trickles off his fingertips.
I came out and tried to get a big play right after that, like you do, because we're in good field position, and I threw the ball to Johnny. I felt Johnny was open, and 9 out of 10 times Johnny would catch that pass.
Here, let's look at it once again on the split screen. Taggy retreats. Rogers makes a cut. Goes for the football. Johnny high in the air, but can't quite find the handle. 2nd and 10, Nebraska, their own 47. Long count. Draw play, and it is Maury Damkroger. Damkroger across the 50 into Oklahoma territory to about the 40, I think at the 44-yard line, the 43, depends on where they mark it. Damkroger in for Bill Olds at the fullback spot. Oklahoma, a big edge in total yardage to this point, but the Huskers still lead it 14-10. Taggy looks him over. Wants to throw once again. Way downfield and nobody close. Going for Woody Cox. Woody was on the turf at around the 10-yard line. Get a replay. I find out exactly. Here's Cox running his pattern, looking up for the football and the defensive back, and Woody Cox collide, and it's 10 yards down the field where the pass comes down. There's no interference. Rule that the Oklahoma back going for the football. 2nd and 10, Nebraska, the Oklahoma 43. Jeff Kinney with a handoff across the 40 to the 39-yard line. A gain of about 4. It's 3rd and 6. Oklahoma 39. 3rd down and 6 to go. Big 3rd down play for the Huskers again. Taggy, for the most part, calling his own signals. Tom Osborne and Taggy put the offensive plan together. Taggy looks over. Only a 3-man rush. Goes back to throw. Throws it down the middle, and it is through the hands of Jerry List. List over the center. Got his hands on the football. Couldn't quite hold it. 4th down, the Huskers, and their field goal unit is on. Rich Sanger will try one that is going to be way short. A long field goal, even with the wind behind him. Sanger had a 49-yard kick that was well short. Oklahoma at their 20-yard line now will put it in play 1st and 10. 14-10 Nebraska. Oklahoma with the football. 2nd quarter of play. Jack Mildren all the way at quarterback so far for the Sooners. Handoff is to Pruitt for a couple of yards. Jim Branch, Husker linebacker, stacks him up after a 2-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 8. Oklahoma 22. Numbers 1 and 2, the game they've been talking about and waiting for 6 weeks coming into this one. Jack Mildren. Fakes a handoff, runs the option, turns the corner about 4 yards before he is spilled by Rich Glover again. Glover having a great day. Number 79 everywhere. Glover drifts out. Here's a replay of it. Off Brahaney's block this time. Comes down the line and still is able to get the very quick Mildren as he makes his turn upfield. Third and 4 at the 26-yard line. Up close as Jack Mildren calls the signals. Runs the option play outside. Turns the corner. He's to the 30, to the 35, and up very close to the 40-yard line. Mildren for about 13 yards. With a perfect execution of Oklahoma's principal weapon, the quarterback option. 2:49 remaining in the first half. Mildren for 13 yards and an Oklahoma first down at the Sooner 39. Mildren again fakes. Turns the corner and is hit as he does turn. Bob Terrio and Rich Glover at the bottom of the stack. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 Oklahoma. The Sooner 43 is where they'll spot it. Jack Mildren in the center of everything for the Sooners all season long. The number 7 scorer in the nation. 2nd and 6. Mildren with a fake. He's going to throw. Man is open, and he's got it for the gain all the way down to what, the 15-yard line. Mildren to Chandler, 22 yards. Ball on target at the 35-yard line. Al Chandler with the reception. 1st and 10 Oklahoma. Welch up the middle. Good game. Ball is loose, and the Huskers have it.
One of those things, and this is something that Timmy remembers to this day. He knows where I fumbled, and I know right where he fumbled, and I'm sure we can both walk to the spots.
I felt the momentum switch here. We got the ball again, and we stopped them, and we have the ball in fairly good shape on the 28, 29-yard line. And once again, tried to come out and pass the ball, and they did a good job of covering.
Paggy back to throw. Has to scramble. Comes back up for a few yards. Here's a replay. Welch coming through. You can't see the ball come loose. Glover trails the play. And Glover's the guy that recovers the football. Glover just reached one arm out, pulled it back. And the Huskers have possession. He's looking over Bob Devaney's shoulder. 2nd and 10. At the Nebraska 27. Only man behind Taggy is Damkroger on the draw play to the 30. Comes outside of the 30 for the 35-yard line. Maury Damkroger, good effort. Was hit, spun away, an 8-yard pickup, 2 yards short of the first down. Chuck Fairbanks of Oklahoma. 3rd and 2, Nebraska's 35. Taggy runs the option play, pitches back. Kinney with no place to go gets back to the line of scrimmage. Ball rolls free. Oklahoma indicating they've got it. The official says the ball was dead. Kinney just short of the first down. Nebraska keeps possession, and Hughes comes in to kick. Wiley is deep. Back at the 15-yard line, gets out to the 20, about the 22. Oklahoma at their own 22-yard line, 1st and 10, trailing in the ball game 14-10. Jack Mildren, the fake, the option play to the left side, and he's got 4, maybe 5 yards. Mildren finally spilled down. He picks up 5 to the 27. The clock 38 seconds to go. 2nd and 5 Oklahoma. Mildren with a handoff to Wiley into the left side. A pickup of 6 yards and a first 10. 1st and 10 for Oklahoma. Huskers are willing to yield the yardage right here and let that clock run out. 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Mildren is going to throw. Looking for John Harrison, and he's got it at the 30 to the 24-yard line. A helmet went flying. Bill Cush lost the helmet. Oklahoma down to the Nebraska 24. A Mildren to Harrison pass. Here it is again. Harrison on the straight ahead pattern down to the right side. Over his head catch. And Mildren again throwing. Harrison in the corner. He's got it for the touchdown. With lightning rapidity, less than a half a minute to go, and the Sooners move down to the field and go in for the score to take a lead, 16-14. Mildren to Harrison with only 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Mildren 4 of 6 for the day. Carroll's try for a point, 17-14. 5 seconds to go. And the Sooners will kick off. Here's a replay. Harrison faking up the middle, going outside. Cush right with him. Harrison headed for the corner. Mildren's pass is right on target. Harrison for the touchdown, and the Sooners lead it. Comes a kick by Oklahoma. Carroll just barely gets foot into the ball. Onside kick. It did go 10 yards, 4 seconds on the clock. And as the Cornhuskers come out, a couple of seconds to play. Taggy back to throw. Going to put it up for anybody. Way down the field, it falls incomplete, and time has run out. Oklahoma with a stunning comeback. 2 long pass plays, and they go in at halftime leading 17-14 over the Huskers.
I think the key here for Oklahoma to score was we made a quick first down. It was important to us that we not do anything dumb and lose another 7 points.
I couldn't believe what had happened. I was kind of feeling comfortable. I felt our offense was starting to come on track and that we could move the ball. I was very confident in it. And the next thing I look up and a couple long passes and we're behind going in a half. That never happened before. I think the entire team was stunned. In the locker room we were quiet, and it was the only time we were ever that quiet in the entire season. But we were an experienced team. We were a good team, very good team, and we felt that it didn't take long for us to get our minds back on the game at hand. And okay, there's not much we can do about the first half, so let's prepare ourselves mentally and tougher for the second half.
Halftime stats: Oklahoma ran far more plays, added a big rushing edge on the Huskers. 2nd and 12, and Kinney with a 9-yard game up and over midfield, but still 3 yards short of the first down. Jeff Kinney picks up 9. It'll be 3rd and 3. Huskers shocked. Looked like they had a 4-point lead to take into halftime, and it turned into a 3-point deficit. Need this 3rd and 3 to keep the drive alive. Up close, Taggy behind Doug Dumler, and ups and offside. Huskers left guard Dick Rupert. Offside. Rule delay of game, and a step off will move it back to the 40-yard line. Huskers re-huddle. Now it's 3rd and 8. Nebraska's football at their own 40. Taggy looks him over. Taggy wants to throw. Looks down the middle, being rushed, and is going to be caught behind the line. Taggy sacked for a 7-yard loss by the center of the Sooner line. 4th and 15, the Huskers. And Hughes will again, as he did 3 times in the first quarter, have to kick into that wind. High snap from center. Hughes has got it. High hanging kick comes down, and this time does not take a reverse bounce. No return. John Shelley was a deep guy. Had no chance to touch it, and Oklahoma will start their first possession in the second half. Their own 29. There's their lineup. Chandler and Harrison have been the main offenders as far as Nebraska is concerned, the tight end and split end. Mildren, Bell, Pruitt, and Crosswhite in the backfield. The Oklahoma offensive machine out of the wishbone. They have ground everybody right into the dust and averaged 45 points per game all season long. lead at 17-14. Mildren with a give to Pruitt and up over for about, 4 yards? Greg Pruitt, who has been contained well by the Huskers mostly through the day, averaging 9.5 yards per try coming into the ball game. The ball at the Oklahoma 33, 2nd down and 6. Mildren looks at a 5-man front, gives it to Crosswhite up the middle. Rich Glover's got him. Glover, who has 11 tackles for the day. Glover again a head-on with Brohaney. Manages to fight his way through, and as Crosswhite tries to go by, Glover's going to stop him for a couple of yards. 3rd and 4. 4 assists and 11 unassisted tackles for Husker All-American middle guard Glover. The counter play by the quarterback Mildren, 6 yards, and he's got the first down. Mildren faking back, going into the hole to the 39-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 Oklahoma. Mildren with a fake, comes outside, turns the corner, gets hit, the ball is loose, and the Huskers have it. Mildren, John Adkins, I believe, raced in and knocked it loose. Dave Mason on top of the football. The 3rd fumble by Oklahoma.
The fumble at the start of the 3rd quarter was the key play of the whole game. I feel that way, I guess, because I fumbled. We had a first down. Again, we had the wind. We can see another 7 points and a 10-point lead. So from Oklahoma's viewpoint, it was a critical era at the absolute worst time.
Kinney having a spectacular second. Now there's the backs. Taggy, Kinney, Oles, and Rogers. Damkroger in for a few plays at fullback. Otherwise, it's been those 4 the entire ball game thus far. 2nd down and 4, Nebraska at the Oklahoma 47. Handoff to Kinney once again, goes to the left side, goes to the turf. The ball is, like the ball came loose, but it was after the whistle. And a first down to the 42-yard line of Oklahoma. Kinney again. 6 yards and 5 yards, and Nebraska at the Sooner 42. Has played errorless football. Oklahoma's coughed it up 3 times so far. 1st and 10. Taggy looks him over. Jerry Taggy fakes, takes it in himself, and he's got about 3 yards. To the 39 of the Sooners. Jerry Taggy spins and goes into the middle to bring up 2nd and 7. Nebraska has a trip to Hawaii after Oklahoma. And then hopefully the Orange Bowl if they can come back in this one. 2nd and 7 at the 39. Bill Oles left side. About 3 yards. He is short of the first down. Oles slanting to the left side. Makes it 3rd and 4. The Cornhuskers at the 36 of the Sooners. Jerry Taggy. Set the Sooners overstacked to the open field side. Runs his option that way, fakes, comes upfield, he's got the first down. Taggy continues to roll to the 10, inside the 5, on the 3-yard line before he's shoved out of bounds. Jerry Taggy on the option play. A great fake at the line of scrimmage, and watch this one. Shoves the would-be tackler's hand away and picks up at least 10 more yards. To the 3-yard line, 1st and goal, Nebraska. Taggy gives to Kinney. Drives through, spins into the end zone, touchdown. Huskers go in front 20-17. Kinney again, eye-back spot. Stopped momentarily short of the goal line, but a spin gets him out of it, and he goes into the end zone. Look at it one more time from the defensive standpoint. Kinney coming in. Slowed up but not stopped. He's got 6. Sanger from placement. 21-17. The Huskers, who going into the ball game had never been behind any opponent in 9 games, are back in front 21-17. Sanger will kick. Crosswhite is up short as the kick goes into the wind. Crosswhite gets it at about the 25-yard line, back around the 28. Kinney on the phone upstairs with Tom Osborne, the offensive coordinator. 1st and 10, Oklahoma. Handoff to Crosswhite in the middle for 3. Leon Crosswhite across the line. 2nd and 7, Oklahoma. Huskers have gone back into the lead in the third quarter, 21-17. Greg Pruitt grabbed at the line, spins ahead for about 3 more. It'll be 2nd down and 7 at the Oklahoma 34. Pruitt, most everybody's All-American and a good Heisman Award candidate, along with the Huskers' Johnny Rodgers. Numbers 1 and 2. Right now, Nebraska with a 4-point edge in the third quarter. 3rd down for Oklahoma. Jack Mildren fakes, goes back to throw, gets raised and gets caught for the first time today. All-American Larry Jacobson and then Willie Harper. First time Mildren has been caught behind the line. Of course, Oklahoma passes only as a rarity. Here it is again. Watch Willie Harper come in on the play. Jacobson got to him first, and as Mildred tries to retreat, Harper is all over him. And with 4th and long, the punter is on for Oklahoma, kicks from around his 10-yard line. Johnny Rodgers is deep for Nebraska. Will have no opportunity to run this one back. In his tracks is dropped, and the Huskers will put the ball in play right around their own 38-yard line. Dan Kroger at fullback, replacing Olds. Taggy has gone all the way at quarterback. Long count. Handoff to Dan Kroger up the middle. Good yardage. About 5 yards to the 43. There's the clock. Just over 6:40 to go. Third quarter. Huskers on top, 21-17. 2nd and 5, Nebraska, their own 43. Handoff to Kinney, and he's got the first down. Very close to midfield. Jeff Kinney following his blockers and then making it on his own. A yard short, less than a yard really. Huskers in 29 games have not lost. Want badly to keep that streak alive. 3rd and 1. Taggy looks a long time before he settles down behind Doug Dumler. I formation. Handoff outside. Kinney breaks the tackle. He's to the 45, the 40, well over the first down yardage that he needed, and knocked out of bounds close to the 36. Jeff Kinney got the blockers to open it, running hard. Kinney averaging almost 6 yards per carry for the day. Huskers leading rusher all season long, and it's at the 36-yard line of Oklahoma. 16 times, 92 yards, 5.8. 1st and 10, Nebraska. Taggy rolls to his right, gonna fade, wants to throw, got Rodgers at the sidelines, he's got it! Inside the 20, the 15, and finally shoved out around the 14-yard line.
Johnny never had the great all-out speed to run the deep routes, but he was the quickest player, and he came off the cut so quick he can just throw to an area, and he would adjust to the ball. And he was the best that I've ever played with in doing that.
Isolated on Rodgers. The cut, waving for the football, it's there. And John just staying in bounds for a moment. Gets it very close to the 15. Kinney for no gain. About the first time today the Sooners have stopped him. The 16-yard line's where it was scrimmaged, and that's just about what he got back. 2nd and 10. Oklahoma trying to keep the Huskers within range. They're 4 down now. Nebraska wanting to get some breathing room. 2nd and 10 at the 16 of the Sooners. Taggy wants to throw, looks downfield. Everybody covered. Taggy back on the scramble, and he's got about 5 yards. Taggy back close to the 10-yard line. They're going to mark at the 11. Taggy finally dumped by the Sooners' Driscoll. And it's 3rd and 5. Just outside the 10 of Oklahoma. Huskers having a good third quarter. A total of 91 yards in the first half. They've gone beyond that in just the third quarter, which still has a little bit of time to go. 3rd and 5 at the 11. Taggy rolls, wants to throw. He's got Rogers close to the goal line, just barely outside the flag. Taggy to Rogers down around the 1-yard line, 1st and goal, Nebraska. And again, John with that quick move to the outside. Taggy's ball is a bullseye. Rogers knocks the flag down. They try to go over, and it is a quarterback sneak that's going to be short. Huskers like to sneak it when it gets this close, but Taggy is stacked up by the center of the Sooner line. 2nd and goal. That close. Taggy, 45%, 5 of 11 for 56 yards. 2nd and goal, inside the 1. Sooners bunched in tight. Long count. Hand off to Kinney. Head down, he's got it. Jeff Kinney, his 3rd TD of the day. And the Huskers go in front 27-17. Still about 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Jeff Kinney, not up and over that time, just bored through.
Going from 3 points ahead, driving with the wind, to being 11 points down. The wind didn't seem very significant at that time, and it became absolute critical that we put points on the board.
Huskers now kicking off into the wind. Very high hanging kick, and it's Russell for the Sooners, one of their short men. Brings it around to the 28-yard line, a couple of yards run back. Mildren gets his club out, gets him ready. Turns the corner, he's got about 5 yards before he's wrestled down. Jack Mildren, every play so far, and the busiest man on the field as far as calling the plays and handling the football. Here's Rich Glover once again in that ongoing duel with Braheny. Double teamed, knocked down this time as Mildren rolls outside of him, and yet he's back up, grabs him, wrestles him down, stops him after a 5-yard gain. 12 tackles and 4 assists for the Husker All-American middle guard. Up the middle, Welch is again grabbed by Glover. Welch from the fullback spot replacing Crosswhite. Worried Chuck Fairbanks on the sidelines. His Sooners not used to being behind. It is 3rd and 5. The 33-yard line. Sooners with a pitch back to Harrison. He's going to throw. It is deep, and Chandler's got it. It wrestles away to the 40. He's to the 30. Finally dragged down at the 17-yard line.
It's a split-end around pass. First time we had used it all year. We had it in our offense probably since September 15th, but we saved it for Nebraska, and it worked.
A completion and a big gain to get the Sooners out of some trouble. There's Harrison. Looks downfield. Throws it. Got his man open, Chandler, who shakes out of the first tackle and is finally run down to the 16 of Nebraska. 1st and 10 Sooners. Mildren with a fake. Rolls the option play left side. Cuts upfield. Got good yardage. All the way down inside the 10 to around the 8-yard line. Mildren with an 8-yard gain at 2nd and 2. There's the stats. Oklahoma with, as expected, an edge in rushing, but look at the margin in passing, 170-56. Mildren, 2nd and 2, runs the option. He's got the first down inside the 5 to around the 3. Jack Mildren taking over, going left, going right. 1st and goal. Huskers lead it. Oklahoma knocking hard, and Mildren is caught back at the 4, leaps ahead to around the about the line of scrimmage. Only 39 seconds remaining in the third quarter. It'll be 2nd and goal, Oklahoma. Jack Mildren runs the option play to the left side. He's got the touchdown. Hit at the goal line, he falls into the end zone. Mildren on the rollout. Hit by Bob Terrio, but he couldn't quite keep him out of the end zone. Carroll from extra point position makes it good. It's 28-24. Look at that touchdown play again. Number 45 is Terrio. From behind the Husker line, Mildren comes down. Makes his cut. Here comes Terrio at the goal line, but he can't quite keep him out. Only seconds remain as the Sooners kick off. Now down 4 points again. Ball gets away from Rogers. He'll down it in the end zone. As The third quarter winds down. Huskers will pick up the win in a few seconds. The ball at the 20, 1st and 10. Taggy pitches back to his I-back, and Kinney, good yardage. Spins for 5, wrestles his way 3 yards further forward. Kinney made 5 and then was hit and dragged tacklers with him for 3 more. Second down and let's call it 3 yards. That's the last play of the third quarter. So the Huskers pick up the win and a 4-point lead after 3 periods of play. Nebraska at their own 27, 2nd and 3. Open field left side. Taggy looks at a 6-man Sooner front. I formation. Fakes. Wanted to throw. Now Taggy's going to scramble across the 30 to the 31. Taggy wanted to throw the quick hitter. Nobody was there. Runs it in. There's a look at the stats for the third quarter. In total yards, Oklahoma over 400. Huskers have been yielding 171. Nebraska just over 200 yards in the ball game. Huskers still lead it by 4. Taggy with a 1st and 10, and Kinney hitting in for 3 yards to around the 34-yard line will bring up 2nd and 7 for Nebraska. Well, the Huskers have the lead, but a whole quarter to play. The Nebraska 34-yard line. And for the most part, same 4 guys in the Nebraska backfield, and most of the guys up front staying the same. 2nd down and 7 to go as Taggy brings them out. Open field to the left side. Taggy fakes a pass, gives it to Rogers in the deep reverse, comes to the 30, the 35, to the 40, and the 45, and almost midfield.
They started keying on Kenny, and it was a perfect chance for us to come back with a reverse to Johnny Rogers that we put in for the game.
Here's Rogers in an isolation, 1 step forward. Taggy with a pass fake, then flips it back, and Rogers with the end to beat turns the corner and turns it on right down the sidelines. Some help from his teammates and a 16-yard gain. It's 1st and 10 at midfield. Big play for the Huskers. Got him out to midfield. Taggy with a long count. I formation. Taggy on the option play. Pitches to Kinney late. Comes to the 50. Gets dumped. Ball is loose, but the official says it touched the ground. The whistle came in a hurry. Oklahoma unhappy about the call. Kinney in the air. Had the ball get away when he hit the turf. Nebraska's football. A gain of 2 they rule. 2nd and 8. Oklahoma's 48-yard line. Jerry Taggy. Fakes, hides the football. He's going to throw. Now he has to scramble. Comes back to the left side. Taggy turns at the 50. He's to the 45 and goes to the 41-yard line. Taggy wanting to throw. Had to scramble all the way back. There's Kinney's stats for the afternoon. 27 carries, averaging better than 5 yards per try. Taggy with a 1st and 10. Pitches back to Kinney. Good blocking. He turns the corner to the 30, the 25, and now to the 24. Jeff Kinney. And watch the Huskers clear out the path for him to let him turn upfield in a hurry. There's Kinney in the isolated shot. Shoulder pads flopping. Makes the turn. Head down for a couple of more. 24-yard line, and Taggy with a fake to Rogers. Ball is loose. Oklahoma's got it.
Here comes the fake that I was supposed to swing around behind my back and throw the pitch out to Jeff. We worked it. We put it in especially for the Oklahoma game, and I thought it was a good time to run it. And I got hit and I fumbled the ball. I couldn't get the ball around behind my back.
The 31-yard line. Mildren fakes, comes up the middle on that quarterback counter, and he picks up 9 yards. John Adkins for Nebraska, the bottom of the stack, but it's a gain of 9, 2nd and 1. Out come the Sooners. Mildren has gone every play at quarterback, and the same play the right side this time. 1 step back left. Mildren's got the first down. Rich Glover with 1 more tackle for the day. The ball out to the, is it close enough? Yep, first down, 48-yard line of Oklahoma. Close up of Mildren as he sets his club down. Handoff to Welch, slants left side. He's through for about 5 yards. Tim Welch of Bowie, Texas, 5-yard gain, brings it out to midfield. 2nd and 5. Huskers leading, Oklahoma trying to get back in it. Oklahoma has not had that year that they have had to come from behind many times. Putting the ball in the air far more than usual today. And when they've gone to the air, they've had great success. 2nd and 5. Mildren turns around, runs the option play. Now pitches late. Pruitt the trailer, and he's got good yardage. Pruitt all the way down to around the 30-yard line before he shoved out of bounds.
The first rule of the wishbone, at least in my vintage, was we wanted to get the ball outside. So if there was a chance to get it outside, we were pitching. I'm going to dare you to tackle our halfbacks. In my opinion, Gregory D. Pruitt was one of the best backs to have played. There's nothing that he couldn't do on the football field, from run, throw, catch, and block.
2nd down and 8 to go for Oklahoma. Mildren's stats: 4 of 6 in the air, 27 rushes for 117 yards. Outstanding ball player. Most everybody's All-America list will have Jack Mildren. 2nd and 8. Handoff goes to the first man through Welch for about 3 yards. Bob Terrio's got him. Look at the clock. 9:22 remaining. Huskers lead it by 4. Oklahoma on the move. Inside the 30. And again, Welch for a couple of yards. It'll bring up 4th and 2. Big 4th down play. Sooners down 4, electing not to try the field goal. At the 25 of Nebraska. Mildren sets him down. Mildren fakes, rolls, he's got the first down. Jack Mildren to the 21. One of the bigger first downs in the afternoon for Oklahoma. 1st and 10. Open field right, sideline left. Mildren hands off to Welch, and he's got maybe a yard. Just over 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Like Glover at the bottom of the stack. 2nd and 9, Oklahoma. As Mildren brings him out once again. This time it's Pruitt pushing his blockers ahead. Bob Terrio reaches in behind to grab him. Pruitt with a gain of about 3. To the 17 of Nebraska, 3rd down and 6, Oklahoma. 3rd and 6 for the Sooners, and Mildren looks him over, fakes, wants to throw to the goal line, and is knocked away. Great defensive play by co-captain Jim Anderson.
As we got toward the goal line, it was necessary for Oklahoma to score. We were down 4 points. A great play by Jim Anderson forced us to go for it on 4th down, and on 4th and 12, we fortunate enough to make a touchdown to go ahead for the last time in the ball game.
Mildren to Harrison, a combination that clicks, in Oklahoma sets their home fans wild as a 17-yard pass puts the Sooners back in front. Carroll's try is up and good. Oklahoma 31-28, 69 yards in 11 plays for the Sooners. And again to the air on that scoring drive took about 4.5 minutes. Jeff Kinney is deep. Brings it back across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
This is our big drive. We got in the huddle. It was a noisy crowd, but you could have heard a pin drop in our huddle. We knew this was it. We had to make something happen.
Huskers 1st and 10 at their own 26. Taggy. Reverse to Rogers, goes outside. Back to the 25, slips at the 30-yard line and falls down. Johnny Rogers with a 5-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 5. Just as he hit the 30-yard line, he went to about the 31. Huskers open field to their left and sideline to their right. And the clock ticking. Now down by 3. Taggy again the long count. Hands off to Kinney, comes to the middle. He's got the first down.
This is an interesting picture in that we're changing to cleats. We had played in turf shoes all afternoon. It didn't matter because I sat there with these practice shoes on and almost all of the clock was eaten up by Nebraska's winning TD drive.
Kinney on the previous try just barely short, comes to the outside. Watch this run by Kinney. Shoulder pad still flapping. Breaks that tackle. And that one. One more. Knocked out of bounds at the 48. Kinney is out Gary Dixon in at the I-back as Kinney gets a chance to take a breath after a couple of carries. Nebraska's ball, 1st and 10. Handoff to Dixon in the middle for 3, maybe 4 yards. Gary Dixon, and the clock continues to tick. The scoreboard, Oklahoma 31-28 in front. Nebraska's football. 2nd down and 6 to go. Taggy back to throw. Looking, nobody there. Taggy's going to run now, throws it to Johnny Rogers trying to come back. Incomplete. Taggy started to scramble, saw Rogers come open at the last moment. Total yards, Oklahoma with a better than 165-yard edge, 468 to 303. And the Huskers with a big, monumental 3rd down play. 3rd and 8. Taggy back to throw against the three-man rush. Gets away from a tackler. Goes to the outside, throws it. Rogers with a dive. Did he get it? Yep. Johnny Rogers on a big play. Here it is in isolation. Johnny Rogers gets rid of the defender. Looks, sees that Taggy is scrambling. Comes back. Here comes the football, and Rogers with a diving catch. The Huskers pick up a big 1st down of the 22. Handoff. Kinney to the outside. Gets good yardage inside the 25 to around the 22. Now 2nd and 3. Johnny Rogers tries the outside, spins away from one, inside the 20 to the 15. Johnny Rogers. And the Huskers down to the 15-yard line where it'll be 2nd down and 3 to go. The do-everything guy, Johnny Rogers, the clock shows less than 3.5 minutes to play. 2nd and 3, Nebraska. Handoff to the I-back. Kinney up the middle, he's got the 1st down. Kinney down to the 8-yard line, 1st and goal. The Huskers. The big drive, the must drive, and they've made it work so far down to the inside the 10 at the 8-yard line, 1st and goal, Nebraska. Kinney, 168 yards. You'd have to think he might get it again in this spot where he's been the valuable man all day. Pitch to Kinney, comes inside, but this time the 6-yard line before a whole host of Sooners wrestle him down. Jeff Kinney for a cup. It'll be 2nd and goal. The do-or-die march for Nebraska with just around 2 minutes left. 2nd down and 6. Huskers at the Oklahoma 6-yard line. All 11 Sooners in the defensive picture. Handoff to Kinney, comes outside, inside the 5. He wrestles to the 2. Jeff Kinney hit at the 5-yard line, still made 3 more yards. The ball came loose, fumble, but they say that Nebraska will keep possession. Ball on the ground. Let's look at it again. Kinney hangs on as he is grabbed. Oklahoma trying to kick the ball loose. Kinney goes to the turf. Nebraska's football at the 2. 3rd and goal. Taggy to Kinney. He's got the touchdown. Jeff Kinney left side. Tremendous lead block by Maury Damkroger. Damkroger leads him in, puts the Oklahoma UN out of it. Kinney knifes inside. And the Huskers go back in front, 34-31. Sanger. The point is good. It's 35-31. Here it is again, and watch Damkroger right ahead of Kinney.
Damkroger not cleared the way. Kinney cut inside the block and dove to the end zone.
Finds that opening, squeezes through, dives into the end zone. 74-yard drive in 12 plays, and it was never more do or die for the Huskers. 1 minute and 38 seconds on the clock. Oklahoma lines up to receive. The boot by Sanger bounces back. Wiley picks it up. Down around the 10, the 15, back to almost the 20-yard line. Joe Wiley brings it back to the 19, 1st and 10 Oklahoma.
This series, of course, is now or never for us, and first play is an absolute overthrow. And John was open, in my opinion, and just was overthrown. And after that, things kind of fall apart for us.
2nd down and 10 and 1:28 to play. Mildren looks him over. Mildren fakes. Option play left side, and he is wrestled out of bounds. Bill Jensen, number 55, the guy that shoved him out. It will stop the clock. 3rd down, and let's make it 6 to go. 3rd and 6 at the 23, where they're going to spot it. Jack Mildren really has to go to his bag of tricks now with time running out on the Sooners, and they're down 35 to 31. 3rd down, 6 to go, deep in Sooner territory. Huskers expecting the throw. Mildren fakes, goes back. Coming through, Larry Jacobson's got him back. All the way back to the 14-yard line. Huskers All-American tackle Larry Jacobson. One of the bigger plays of the season. It's 4th down. And no tomorrow for Oklahoma. 4th and 14.
Then the last 2 plays are just broken up by 2 great defensive plays. One by Larry Jacobson, who had been very hard to play against all day. Larry was one of those guys that could play head up and outside and could get away with it. And as hard a defensive tackle as we've played against. And then the last play of the Nebraska game for us, for Oklahoma, was the pass was broken up. We were rushed by Glover, and that was it.
Mildren got his arm back to throw. Jacobson, as he comes out, and the Husker bench goes wild. Rich Glover knocked the ball down. Nebraska will take over, just over a minute left. Oklahoma is out of timeouts. Huskers ball, the Oklahoma 15. Nebraska in the game of the century that is really, in every respect, lived up to that billing.
One of the class things that happens, though, I think, is Nebraska doesn't try to make a touchdown, which would have been, in effect, rubbing it in. I'm not sure other teams would have played it that way. And to me, that was one of the fun things about this game. I think there was only one penalty. It wasn't one of those kind of intense, I hate you kind of rivalries. It was one of those, I'm going to prove that I'm better than you are, and I'm going to play as hard as I can. But when it's over, it's over. And to me, that's the best memories I have of playing against Nebraska and of playing in this game.
Both teams respected each other as great football teams, and all my thinking was just let's run wide, run the clock down. We won the game, but they were a great football team. And that was both teams played as well as they could play. I think it lived up to all its expectations. Proudest moment of my career.
Hand off to Kinney. Jeff down to around the 6-yard line. 4th and 3, and the Huskers may not have to, well, it looks like they might. They might have to run one more play. The 6-yard line of Oklahoma. Taggy gives off to Kinney. Kinney comes outside. He's down to the 3-yard line, and 3 seconds on the clock. As soon as they spot the ball, the clock will start. Husker players watch it. It's all over. Nebraska with a thrilling comeback. Oklahoma coming back and Nebraska coming back the last time. Huskers go wild as they have won the game of the century. Bob Devaney gets a ride. And Chuck Fairbanks is looking for him out in the center of the field. Bob was a coach when Chuck Fairbanks was an end from Michigan State. They go back a long way together. Bob Devaney, who has announced his retirement for next year. A thrilling win for him, certainly, and for the Cornhuskers, and a gallantly played ball game. And the final score, Nebraska 35, Oklahoma 31.
Right in the beginning, we were playing the national anthem. I could not believe believe that I was actually standing here and was actually going to begin. It had such a hype and build up all season long, and I think we lived up to our hype all season long too. We were beating foe after foe and by a lot of points. And
do people ask you if it's the greatest? Do people tell you that it's the greatest game that they've seen?
Yes, they do, and it's the only game that anyone ever really asked me about. And it's the highlight of my career without a doubt. And I'm glad to be able to participate in this with the offensive player of the game, Jack Milburn.
Well, it's the game that people talk about, and certainly we've had great victories at Oklahoma years after I've been gone. But always makes me feel good when somebody says that you played in the greatest game that I've ever seen, and for the reasons that we've talked about, it was no fun to lose, but we did.